Good morning, guys. My name is Logan. I'm the team lead here at Ingram Micro Cloud, Canada. I started at the early stage of the Ingram AWS Partner Program, and I've witnessed tremendous growth with our partners since then. I hold 3 AWS certifications, including the Solution Architect Pro, which is the highest level for AWS Solution Architects. My role here is basically an AWS Partner Development Success Manager plus all Ingram network and resources. I organized my thoughts today around 2 topics: why AWS and why Ingram Micro. Hopefully, we'll arrive at the conclusion in the end that Ingram Micro Cloud Canada is the best choice to build your AWS business with. So why AWS? As the AWS rep at Ingram, this is one of the most frequently asked questions. Half the time, we quickly dive into a specific customer case, and other times, we have a broader discussion. And these are typically what I share. Compared with the SaaS business model, infrastructure as a service requires a longer sales cycle, often project-based rather than transactional, and creates stickier customer relationships. It is a major decision anytime a customer decides to move their core IT infrastructure into the cloud, which means they will be careful and particular. All leading hyperscalers provide vast portfolios of services, most of which are paradigm changing. For example, for a solution architect who is seasoned in designing on-prem solutions, it would definitely take a minute to learn how to price out a solution on cloud. Because consumption-based means different pricing considerations for each service and feature, not to mention how scaling works with each services and how they interwork together. Finally, you call it an estimate, not a quote, because now everything is dynamic. For partners, that means cost of training existing staff or hiring new people. That means adjusting business models, and sometimes it means revamping the whole sales and billing processes. All that makes it a highly strategic decision for a partner to decide on investing with a public cloud provider. So first, you need to check out the lay of the land. I collected all these information from public sources. A few things to note here. AWS ranks number 1 in terms of revenue and market share. Microsoft still does not reveal the standalone Azure number. The number here represents a Microsoft Intelligent Cloud division, which includes Azure, SQL Server, Windows Server, GitHub, etc. GCP is the only one among the big 3 that is not profitable at the moment. To quote Gartner, AWS recognized as the cloud leader for the 11th consecutive year for cloud infrastructure and platform services in 2021. For comparison, on the left is the same Magic Quadrant 5 years ago. It shows that this is indeed a game of economy of scale where the Matthew effects prevails. I would argue to some extent that that's the same for partners as well. Most of you are familiar with Gartner. They not only do market research, but also go deep into the technical. For example, Gartner gives an overall score on the comprehensive solution capabilities of each vendor. AWS leads the chart with 94 points, followed by Azure 84, Alibaba 81, and then Oracle 78, GCP 75, and IBM 40. The report is also further divided into 3 types of criteria and gives a more detailed analysis. AWS leads all 3 categories, meeting 98% required criteria. I actually prepared more content here, but when I was rehearsing with my teams, somebody said this could be dry for some of you guys. Not to name names, Yeshma. She's also going to later tell me to wrap up soon. So please feel free to come to me later and we can geek it out. By comparison, Azure meets 92% of required, and GCP meets 81% required. When you pitch the benefit of public cloud to customers, you talk about the breadth of service, global reach, elasticity, availability, agility, etc. Physical infrastructure is the foundation of all these benefits. Here are the information these 3 vendors published on their website as of August this year. I collected all manually. AWS has 27 regions now and has announced plans to add 7 more regions. Azure has 46 and plans to add 18 more, GCP 34 plus 7. They have different concepts of regions and availability zone setup. Since its inception, AWS has always insisted on 3 plus AZ per region design and has been the only one doing so for many years. All AWS and GCP existing regions have at least 3 availability zones. 26 out of the 46 Azure existing regions have at least 3 AZs. In Canada, All three have two regions, with AWS launching the second region in 2023 and Azure's Quebec region not having 3 AZs. On top of physical infrastructure, next to look at is the breadth and depth of services. Here is a rough feature count across the board. All the information here is collected from public sources again. AWS leads in all major technical domains. I'll take compute, for example. AWS leads the chart for both service and feature counts. A diverse portfolio of services not only gives you more selections, but also offers finer pricing granularity and therefore more cost-saving opportunities. From a resource-based perspective, that means more instances to right size from. From a spend-based perspective, it means more options to consume a given type of service. Take AWS Compute, for example. There are tons of EC2s, various flavors of container services, such as ECNs and Fargate, and then serverless, such as Lambda. You can save up to 72% by bundling all these together and committing to one single compute spend amount. You can also save up to 90% of cost by leveraging spot instances. All three vendors provide spot instances, which allow you to bid on surplus capacity in the market. The caveat here is that once the market price goes over your set bidding price, these will be taken away. It was initially designed for non-critical, fault-tolerant workloads. But with more and more features coming up, spot instance use cases keep expanding, because essentially, you can spend just 1/10 of the money doing the same thing. I mean, as long as you configure your fault-tolerant mechanisms properly. A key metric in this is the grace period when capacities are taken away, for which AWS provides 2 minutes, Azure and GCP each gives 30 seconds. So we went from the overall business picture to comprehensive solution capability, and then a few examples in compute services. All major vendors are constantly making changes to adapt to customer and partner needs, as well as catching up with each other, which definitely makes this a recurring discussion between both me and the partners I work with, and me and other teams at Ingram. So nothing's really set in stone here, but through this, I wanted to show you the level of service and expertise you get from the AWS team at Ingram Micro Cloud Canada, and the unique value Ingram brings to our partners as the largest IT distributor in the world. Now specifically, why would you choose Ingram as your AWS business partner? In March 2021, Ingram Micro signed a global strategic collaboration agreement with AWS. It is the first of its kind AWS has ever signed with a partner. It is a multi-year agreement at a global scale. It represents the serious joint investment from the two organizations for channel partners. In July 2021, Ingram Micro Canada became the first distributor in Canada to offer AWS solutions to the public sector, and continued to be the only public sector authorized distributor in Canada for the following year. My colleague John is going to elaborate on this topic in a later session. In September 2021, Ingram Micro became an AWS training partner. We're kicking off another of our signature AWS Cloud Practitioner Bootcamp later today. In October 2021, Ingram was featured in AWS Partner Network as an example of how AWS distributors enable partner success. And then we continue to expand the scope of the global collaboration with AWS. To date, we have more than 290 AWS certifications. We are at the advanced tier and about to reach premier tier. We hold multiple competencies and program designations that allow us to help our partners in all aspects of their AWS journeys. The spirit of our program is Parity Plus, which means partners keep all the benefits and resources they have as direct partners, but gain a whole lot more from Ingram Micro Cloud. Some of you are probably familiar with the Ingram Micro Cloud Marketplace. For those who don't, it is a fully automated e-commerce management platform with more than 200 leading cloud solutions and services available. More than 200,000 resellers globally use this platform to transact their cloud business. You can white label the platform into your own customer-facing portal, which greatly automates your sales operation processes. It provides comprehensive reporting and analysis features, and it integrates with popular billing systems like ConnectWise, Autotask, QuickBooks. Cloud Checker is one of the leading cloud management platforms specializing in cost optimization with a solid set of security features in terms of identity and access management and compliance. It greatly complements the AWS native billing capability and eliminates the operational complexity of reselling AWS. It retails for $1,000 a month and 3.5% of the monthly recurring revenue above that $1,000. You get full access at no charge from Ingram Micro. Ingram is the only distributor that provides Cloud Checker this way. It is a powerful tool with a lot of cool features. You can decide whether and how much to extend the access of this tool to your customers. We invited Michael Bortman from Cloud Checker to give you a more detailed intro later today. In terms of marketing, we're launching our AWS Go-to-Market Hub 2.0 next month. You'll have access to a range of marketing assets of different topics and types ready to be customized and fired away. We also help generate leads and share them with our strategic partners. We provide various types of funding and incentives in addition to what you get from AWS. Given most of AWS funding opportunities requires partners to reach at least select tier, we specially prepared incentives to help early stage partners accelerate, which my manager Francisco will share later, just to keep the suspense. In a word, the Ingram Micro Cloud team handholds our partners through their AWS journey. We enable your sales and pre-sales teams. We help you set up your first accounts and train your operations and finance teams about AWS billing. We provide professional and managed services to help you scale with ease, and we make sure you eventually build the entire practice. For example, assuming you are new to AWS and Ingram, this is how we will go through it together. First of all, we'll help you register as an AWS partner and explain the ABCs of AWS partner programs, the tier, the margin, the funding mechanisms, etc. Then, we'll help you register an account in the Ingram Micro Cloud Marketplace, where we trigger a distribution seller agreement process. AWS will then send you that DSA document. Once you sign on it, you officially join our program. You're only able to sell AWS with one distribution at a time by signing this document. Then we start talking about marketing campaigns, which include both net new lead generation campaigns and marketing your AWS initiative among your existing customer base, some of whom are most probably already considering moving to the cloud one way or another. You have a lead that comes in one of these three ways. You bring the lead to us, we'll ask you about the opportunity, your relationship with the customer, what is the requirements, what is your business model here, how should you pitch cloud and AWS, how to register the deal, what type of funding are you eligible for, what margin are you looking at, which by the way, you will have to reach select tier to start getting margin from reselling AWS direct. With Ingram, you can start making that margin right away. Then, because it's your first deal, our solution engineer will not only help you design the solution, make an estimate, but also include you in the process to make sure you catch up quickly on the tools and certifications needed as pre-sales. If the lead progresses and your customer trusts you to migrate their workload to AWS, you don't have the in-house capability to do it yet. You can always leverage our global center of excellence team. We might also be able to throw in some funding in this type of engagement, depending on the nature of the opportunity, of course. Once you win the opportunity and deliver the scope of work, may it be migrating to AWS or optimizing an existing AWS environment, it is only the beginning. For you to keep your customer on the cloud and with you, continued customer success practice is key. And a big part of that is a smooth billing operation. Billing on cloud could be a challenge for a new customer because everything is certainly consumption-based and dynamic. Again, sometimes customers get frustrated just from reading an invoice and then they just leave. Not to mention, a partner could have different business models with different customers, which often makes it a steep learning curve. At Ingram, we start sharing the billing aspects at the very beginning of our engagement with the partner. We make it a gradual process to transfer all the necessary knowledge about AWS organization, account setups, cost optimization measures, etc. You can dig into the finest billing details through Cloud Checker and Ingram Micro Cloud Marketplace. We book a call with you upon your first month invoice of your first customer to make sure that you are proficient with it and you're able to assume that trusted advisor role with your customers. We then repeat the process with you again and again and make sure all these roles are assumed by one or multiple individuals in your organization whom we have trained up. This is our definition of practice build. After your takeoff, you continue to have access to a support team that is fully in-house and local in Canada, a platform success manager who focuses on the cloud marketplace, and a dedicated rep from my team to grow the business together with you. And this is what we mean by partner success. That's all I have for you today. Thank you very much, guys.